Poi sapere un po' vedere per tutti.
Sorry, guys, just give me 1 second, please. Okay. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Now, so let's talk about how was everyone's Azure sign up. How did it go? I know a lot of people had success. I know Ramesh, you had some issues. Let's deal with this during this class. I just want to show because Azure account does not has some issues with accepting certain cards and everything. Okay, sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't. It so varies. That's the reason why I just said let's deal with it during the class time. It's much more easier and for everyone to see. I hope everyone can hear me clearly, right?
Yeah, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Again, I'm sorry, I haven't. The staff on Saturday has left the job, so there's no one covering the Saturday shift. So I have to be here at the shop. That's the reason why. But at least we can definitely go run through the class and go through the class. Okay, for sure. I just want. I know Sam is away today. He has some important work. He said he couldn't make it. That's okay. He can watch the recording. But I just want to make sure that how was your experience with signing up Azure? And Azure likes to change how they implement certain things on the fly. There is no warning or anything like that. I know someone mentioned that the placement of how they sign up has changed significantly or slightly from what the video is. And if you see the video, I think the video was only created 3 months ago. That's the reason why every 3 months or I can't even create every 3 months. I can only redo it once a year. So I try to recreate the video once a year, usually during the April or May time. So that way it stays fresh. But I hope you guys were able to follow. I just want to hear your feedback and how was signing up for Azure. You guys can, yeah, go ahead, Umesh.
Yes, sir. After that day class, I was checked the Azure account to open that one, but I didn't open that. I'm
Okay,
waiting for this day for
okay,
30 days trial.
yeah,
So today I created an account with my back home details, address and credit card, everything. It's
okay,
created successfully, sir.
perfect, very good, very good, very good. And you're able to log into your Azure portal, right?
Yes, sir. Now also I logged in.
Very good, very good. Who wants to go next?
Hi, sir.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes, Ramesh. Yeah.
on last week, I tried to create the Azure sign up, and it didn't work, sir. But I tried last 2 days before. I tried it again with
Yeah.
the I close all the browsers, everything,
Yeah.
and then I do it. It's now it's good, sir. I can
Oh,
log in.
perfect. Very good. Yeah, and Ramesh, it's not just you. I see this with myself too, because every year I have to create another account, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes just clearing the history or trying on a different browser like Edge or something that works. It works. The same
yeah,
card or same detail. I don't know why. I think it's just to do with the authentication at the time. I think.
yeah. That's the problem, sir. Because I had uh, another Microsoft accounts are there, right, sir?
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem. I think so. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
closed everything and I just created a new browser. So now it works, sir.
Perfect. Very good. Very good. Very good. Awesome.
Thank
I'm very glad to hear. Who wants to go next? Okay, I'll start asking. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Sharon.
So it was pretty straightforward.
Mhm,
The only difference I felt was it was split into 3 pages. Like in your
mhm.
video, it was in a single page. It was
Yes.
For me, it was split into 3 pages, and then it didn't ask for verification,
Mhm,
phone verification. It just went through,
mhm.
and what else was there? Uh, yeah, that's it. I guess the rest of it was the same.
Yeah. And you know what, Sharon? I think even a year ago it was 3 pages. When I remember doing 2 years ago, it was 3 pages. You have to enter one detail, click next, and goes to the next page, and then it sometimes it verifies, sometimes it doesn't. I think it just depends on the account you're using, your Hotmail account or your Outlook account. If it's If it's already been set up with MFA, I don't think
Uh-huh.
it'll ask you to sign up. You'll just use the same MFA to create the account. It's just a security policy they have.
Okay.
So it means you have a very good account stance, and I think you are using MFA on your account, right? Currently, so you're
Yeah,
probably
for my Gmail account, yes.
exactly, yeah. So it probably use the same verification method, and
Okay.
usually it's if it's an older account or if you're using something that's already been pre-authenticated, it
Okay.
should allow you to log in, no issues.
Got it. Got it. And there was one more thing,
Mhm.
which was different from the video.
Yeah.
It did ask if it is for a personal use or if it's
Yes.
for NGO. So I just took personal because I
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, that
Perfect.
was the only difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rest
Perfect.
of
Very good.
it was straightforward.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Who wants to go next? Annie, I have you next.
Yes, sir. I created the account and it was pretty simple to create.
Mhm.
And only thing was tricky was credit card details,
Mhm.
the setting of credit card, and otherwise the process was easy.
Perfect. Very good. Yeah, and don't worry about your credit card getting charged, because what happens is with Azure, the good thing is even though you have your account more than a year, you will still not get charged unless you turn on a virtual machine that's high end and you leave it on more than 30 days. Yes, you'll get charged. But I'll show you what tricks and tips you need for the class where we're going to use it. There's no way you'll ever get charged. The only difference is I want to be very careful is when we go on Microsoft 365, I'll tell you exactly when to sign up, and then you have to mark it onto your calendar like at least 5 days before, and exactly cancel the account as I show you in the video. I have a recording for that for both things, so you'll know exactly where to go in and sign up, and mark your calendar from the day 5 days before, and then into your account. Okay. Some students had issues where they forgot to cancel, okay, because life goes on, right? But soon as you know that you've been thing, you have 15 days to dispute the charges to Microsoft, and they'll refund you right away, okay? But just be very careful. Every class I tell this is just Microsoft 365. We have to do a trial version, and you have 30 days, and after that you'll get charged. It's like $500 or $600, okay? But I'll specifically say mark it on your calendar 5 days before, so there's no way you'll get charged. The only way you'll get charged is if you don't cancel subscription 5 days before, or even one day before the subscription is supposed to renew. And even if you do, you can contact Microsoft. They'll refund you right away. Okay? It's a 15 minutes process, 10 to 15 minutes, but just don't leave it at that point. It's just not good for you, right? So as long as you mark it on your calendar, you follow up, it should be pretty straightforward. Okay. Awesome, guys. Mr. Nitra, how was your sign up for Azure?
Yeah, it was easy. It's not that trouble, but you gave me the good idea. I just use the debit visa, not the real visa.
Credit card. Yeah, exactly. I always use debit Visa for mine. So I have from Neo. I just got their free debit card. I just load like $10 in there for anything subscription trial like this. I just put it on the card just in case, if I forget or something like that. There's no way it'll be taken out of my credit card, right? Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
That's what I do, just to be on the safe side, right? So, and Microsoft is not like the people who do credit check or anything, right? They just want something to in case it goes over.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Annie. Go ahead.
Sir, I want to ask one question that if we want to create two accounts with different email IDs, can we use the same credit card details to
You
create two
can.
accounts?
I don't think so. It used to allow, Annie, because I remember I used to have 2 or 3 accounts with the same different email account, but with the same credit card. It did not allow me now. That's the reason why I only create an account once every year, and I change my debit card. But Neo credit debit card, I said I just do loss and get a new card, so it changes the thing. But nowadays they're even blocking by the first and last name. It's getting pretty thing now. So it's getting there. They're catching up.
Okay, sir.
Sharon, go ahead, Sharon.
So I just wanted to ask the certifications that we have to do. One is Microsoft 365, right? So
Go ahead.
is that really what you were saying? Like you will tell us like when to do it. Is that related with this as well, or should we register for the fundamental now? Like let's say this week and then start doing it, or
I mean, start doing it as soon as possible, even for both of them. I would start if I was if I was a student, I would start with the AZ 900, which is Microsoft Azure Fundamental, which is AZ 900. Okay, AZ 900. That's a certification you should be starting, but you can start whichever one. But it's easier. The flow, how they want you to do it is do AZ 900 first, get the fundamentals, and then go to MS 900, which is Microsoft 365 Fundamentals. It's just because if you think about it, Azure holds everything, right? Azure holds everything. So you want to master first Azure or learn first Azure fundamentals, and then do your AZ 900 or MS 900, which is your fundamentals of Microsoft 365, because Microsoft 365 is a product of Azure, or it gets supported by Azure. That's the reason why even in this course we teach the Azure first and then go into Office 365. It's just easier for you, and you'll understand how account works and how does the interlinks and everything.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So the certification of fundamentals of Azure is valid for lifetime?
I believe it's a year, 1 year.
1 year.
1 year. But then the renewal is free.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you pay for it once, it's every year you get renewal for free, and you get 5 attempts to pass. And it's not proctored out. It's not like proctored after that. They just send you a link. You just go in. It's open book, so you can search online and everything. Whereas AZ 900, when you do it first, or MS 900, when you do it first, it's proctored, right? Somebody will be watching you from the camera while you do it, and your computer will be in a lockdown browser, meaning it's a secure browser. You can't search anything up. But after that, they'll just send you an email to renew your certification. It's free. You get 5 attempts or 6 attempts, I think, to do it. And it's 100% free. It's 100% open book to do it. Okay. So I just suggest every year just renew it. It's free, right? It doesn't cost you anything. But you just have to go in and study that every year, because they do change a lot of things. And when I say free, it's not too easy. It is pretty hard. Okay.
Every year we have to appear for the exam, right?
It's online. It's 100% online. They just send you an email. You just do it from your home.
Okay.
And it's not like proctored. It's not like somebody watching or anything like that. So you can just do it with Google help of Google or something like that.
Okay.
It's just every year you get an email saying that your certificate is about to expire. Click on the link to take your renewal exam, and you go in there and just show you, I think, 10 or 20 questions, I think, scenario questions.
And renewal is free?
Renewal is free, 100% free.
Okay.
All the Microsoft certification, even the specialization certification is free. Even like when you go do administrator certificate, it's free as well.
Even Microsoft 365 as well?
It's also free. When you're renewing, it's free.
Okay.
But let's say this, right? For example, let's say this. If your certificate expired this month, 23rd, right? You don't renew it by 23rd. Let's say after 24th, it'll become paid. Because the certificate will expire, you have to retake the certification, which means you have to pay for the certification, right? Renewal is free. But you have to do it before the expiry date. They'll send you an email, definitely.
Okay, sir.
Because I know I get them every year for the MS 104, which is administrator one. And my Office 365 one as well, I get every year. It's, I think, 10 or 15 questions.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's 100% free. You don't have to pay for renewal. It's around 10 or 15 questions. Just say I'll say it's less than 20 questions for sure. Same as MS. I'm just verifying again because, there's no cost. Yeah, because I didn't pay anything for it even this year. I renewed about 3 months ago, I think. My certification all expired in January, February range, so I don't remember paying anything for it. And it's 100% free. I'm just checking on their site. But if you let it expire, then you have to pay for it. Sorry, Udesh just asked something. So we are updated every year. Yeah, that's right, Udesh. Yeah, you just have to update every year. But if you let it expire, then you have to pay for it and retake it. Okay. So just don't let it expire. But here's the thing, right? My MS 900 or my AZ 900, and there's also other ones I take. The fundamental ones, I don't renew every year because I have already got the administrator one. The fundamental ones are good to put on, but if it expires, people will understand because you already have the administrator one, right? It's higher than that. So just focus on whatever you do higher than that, right? Every year you don't have to renew. If you get the administrator one, let's say in the future, You don't have to renew the fundamental. I don't renew the fundamental. My fundamental already expired. But I renew my my administrator ones. I renew every year. My other ones I renew every year. So just so because I don't have to waste my time on fundamentals when I already have administrator one, right? Okay, guys. And if you properly focus, you should be able to get the AZ 900 and MS 900 before this class ends, this course ends. Okay, or just slightly after. I know the last batch, one person just completed about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he just landed a job. He landed his job on the 14th, I believe, which is Thursday last week. 14th, I believe. Which is, last batch ended about a month and a half or 2 months ago, I think. So he was able to get a job within 1.5 to 2 months, following the resume building skills, and he was able to apply. He was applying 2 to 3 qualified jobs every day. He was getting. I talked to him last night too, so I asked him about a couple of questions on how was job search, how was attending interviews. He said he was getting very good interviews, about 4 to 6 interviews a month within 2 months, and he attended. And there's a lot of them that went to the second interview, and he was able to secure 2 jobs. One of them was in Ottawa, one of them was in Mississauga, I think, Peel region. He lives in Brampton, so he was able to get it in Peel region, which is a very entry level job, and he had no experience in IT whatsoever. So the job market is looking for people like that, but just have to make sure you get the certifications and start applying, and the same technique as we show you. Okay. Hey Annie, yes, go ahead, Annie.
Yes, sir. He also did the certification, same Azure one.
Yeah, because at that time too, Azure was still high, and it's still high right now.
Oh.
Because what's happening is, if you look at the Azure, right, why Azure is getting famous right now is because Microsoft, everybody using Microsoft Windows. If you think of 90% of the company, all of the supports are everybody's using Microsoft, right? And it's becoming very, very in the market for every company to go to Azure. It syncs very well with Windows. It syncs very well with all the servers, and it syncs very well with all the phones. So everything is just in one platform, and they don't have to pay too much to get manage a server or anything like that. Because it's a SaaS, right? Software as a service now. It's easy for technicians to manage and easy for training too. That's reason why. And the this batch before that, the 2 batch before that, it was AWS. It was AWS because AWS was, remember when Azure went down? I don't know if you guys read the news. Azure had a total collapse of the services, and Azure went down for I think 6 hours or 10 hours. So everybody, what they do is, instead of, we'll look at regions too. You can remember we talked about this class. Azure has different data centers in different countries, right? But they have 2 databases in Toronto, and they have one in Montreal. But what if the whole Canadian Azure portal went down, right? They're 100% screwed. So what now companies are doing is they're doing Azure, and they're doing the same copy in AWS. So that's before, because of the crash, everybody moved to AWS very quickly, and AWS became very, very famous. And we got them to AWS, and they're very successful in AWS, right? We still suggest that, even I think I told you guys, Azure AWS fundamentals is very good to get to. If you guys can get it, but right now the focus is on the market is Azure. That's the focus right now. Very high focus. Even banking, government, pretty much all sector, private to banking to public. But they have it's something called multi-vendor setup. So they have Azure and they have AWS as a backup, just in case something goes down. 2 different options, right? Okay, guys. Go ahead, Ramesh.
Sir, I have wondered which industry is mostly hiring. Sir, the more vacancies will be on which industry, like banking or.
Banking is one of the easiest one to get into right now. It's because they need a lot of freshers to come in to work at the the entry level job, right? Because if you look at the banking history, it goes up. People move up into different fields very quickly. If you go into banking within 1 or 2 years, you'll be promoted into different industries because they have a very good training protocol and it's very set up, right? Banking, I would say, is number 1. Then number 2 is like MSP. If you search up managed service providers, they support different organizations. Like they support thousands of organizations. So they need people to come into entry level jobs to because the people move up to MSP, move up to managed service provider, it's called. What they do is they support IT for small, medium-sized companies. Because small and medium-sized company, if you think about it, they can't afford to get a dedicated IT team for themselves, right? Because average uh, person IT, they need at least someone with a mid-sized level of knowledge in IT, which will cost anywhere from $75,000 to $95,000 a year. And sometimes one person for a smaller mid-sized company is not enough. They need at least 2 or 3 persons. Whereas MSP can give them a whole team for $80,000 a year, right? And they don't have to pay vacation fee, they don't have to pay sick leave or anything like that. It's cheaper for them. So they go for MSPs, and like the focus should be banking and MSP, or our private industry, like food industry and those type of things. A lot of government hospitals too nowadays are taking in freshers to go get into the workplace now too, right? Because they want someone starting, because the hospital industry is also booming too. A lot of patients going in, a lot of doctors coming in too. So it's too, but the first initial one is banking. It's going to be the best bet.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Ramesh. Any other questions, guys? Awesome. Okay. So we talked about sign up issues, and as we talked about it, the more as we talked about, every year I see this is Azure is very finicky. When I mean finicky is one day it will not work. When you close the browser, clear all the caches, and you restart your computer and try again, or try with a different browser, it works. Sometimes it just has to do with the browser, or go into your system and update your system too. I'll show you guys how to do a system update. So just give me 1 second here. I've seen this issue with some people who have a not up-to-date system too. So if you go into your start of year and type in update, and you'll see check for update here. Go here. If the Azure is not working, or before you start the Azure, just click on check for update and make sure all the updates are up to date. Okay. Sometimes when system is not fully up to date, the security protocol that Azure uses will not allow you to sign into Azure. Is just to make sure that Azure does not get hacked or does not get any weak computer coming in, right? This is a very small update. This will not affect it, but any updates you just want to install and make sure your computer is very up to date. Okay. And sometimes if you see here, you see go into advanced options. Okay. And go into optional update. Sometimes you might have updates in here. Click install these two. They might be some sort of security update, security patch that your computer thinks that it's not needed, but your Azure will need it. Okay, that's the reason why. Okay, so always check this. As I said, Microsoft, one of the 80% of the time, the easiest way to fix an issue is to restart the computer. Okay, update and restart the computer, and usually 80% of the time it fixes the issue. Okay, and make sure if you're still having issues, just restart the. I mean, if you're still having issues with the same browser, try a different browser like Google Chrome or Internet Explorer, like Edge. Okay, which is if you go in here and type in Edge, Microsoft Edge, this will be much more compatible with Microsoft Azure than Chrome. Okay, and you want to make sure this is up to date too. If you click on the 3 icon over here, I think you go into settings. Let me just expand this. There's a way of checking about Microsoft. Yeah, here, just make sure it's up to date, okay? If it's not up to date, it's going to ask you to click on update, and just click on update and update, okay? Okay. I'm just going to, before I start the class, I'm just going to sign into my Microsoft Azure, okay? And the portal, okay, let me just show you guys here. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, where am I? Okay. sorry, the reason why I'm only sharing a tab, it's not to hide any sensitive information, just so you guys can see it properly and the recording will be properly. If I share the whole screen, it'll just be smaller and you guys can't see it properly. That's the reason why. Okay. Okay. So if you go here into Google and type in portal.azure.com, okay, this is how you will log into Microsoft Azure. Okay, that's what you want to remember. Okay, and you click on sign in. I'm going to sign into my account. You'll see a lot of here. This is my Microsoft Azure account. It might ask me to do a authenticate. Oh, you guys can. Sorry, share this tab instead. Started. Okay. So if you guys see here, this is your Microsoft Azure portal. Okay. And let's talk about how your portal will, there's some things that you guys just need to understand. So when you go here, this is what's called your Microsoft Azure home screen, okay? And if you see here, this is called Microsoft Azure Services, okay? And if you just scroll down here, you'll see your resources, you'll see navigations, you'll see tools, okay? And in tools, you'll see something called Microsoft Learn. When you click on it, it's going to take you to another page. It's going to ask you to log in here as well. This is where you can go to go ahead and do your Microsoft, learn about Microsoft and everything. Okay. Click next, display name, and we just put in our country, Canada. You can skip this too if you don't want to, but back to it. Okay, perfect. So just to set up your profile, okay? So this is your Microsoft training profile. So when you go scroll down here, this will give you free resources to train. Microsoft, as I said, the only way they make money is to train as much people they can into being proficient in using Microsoft Azure portal, okay? So if you see here, we'll see here what is called Microsoft Browse All Training. This has changed from the time I did my other class, okay? So I'm just scrolling down here. Yeah, usually you'll have it here, or you can go here, Browse All Microsoft Training. Scroll here, and it gives you a training path. So you can have the option of selecting what type of training you will want to do. Let's say in this case, I want to do Azure training. And then if I scroll down here, it'll give you the role-based training as well. If you want to become what type of role you want to do. Okay. So in this one, we're going to do beginner. So level, we'll just do beginner. Okay, not role-based. We'll just select like beginner. But if you ever want to do a role-based training like administrator or something like that, there's administrator role. Okay, which will give you training specifically for administrator. These are the trainings you can take, and it's 100% free. You don't have to pay for it. And you'll see there 38 minutes. There's some that's 4 hours, 3 hours, which will give you a very, very in-depth knowledge in Microsoft Azure. Okay, so you don't have to pay for any Microsoft Azure. What I suggest you do is you go through this training first, and then go to the YouTube links I sent you for the training. So this will give you a very good understanding of it, and the persons in YouTube will give you more in-depth on how to go into the things and do it too. So you'll have a much more better understanding of it, and you have a natural understanding of it. Okay, so you can download some dumps off of some website and do the exam. I suggest that's okay too, learning from the dumps, but you want to understand the concept of getting certification. Getting certification is easy. Anybody can get the dumps and study the memory, dump it, and pass it. But when you go into job interview, when they ask you certain things inside Azure, it's always better for you to understand the whole concept so you can understand. You can explain the process. Okay? So if you see here, we click on beginners, and before type courses. Okay, I'm just going to select courses here. So introduction to Microsoft Azure. So if you go, this is a one-day training. Okay, this is beginner. So if you click on this, this is a foundational. So Microsoft. So this is related to Microsoft Azure fundamentals. This is AZ 900 certification. Okay. If you click on this, this will take you to the certification page. This will tell you what is the certification about. This is certification that I want you guys to do. Okay. But this is the exact thing I told you. Let me just go back. So if you see here, this has broken itself down into 2 or 3 different paths. So which is an introduction to Microsoft Azure, describing cloud concepts. So this will make sure you understand what is cloud, how does it work, just like what we went in the class, but this is a little more in depth, okay, than what we can cover in this class. And the introduction to Microsoft Azure, describe Azure architecture and services. Okay, there's 4 modules here, and then you have described Azure management and governance. Okay, and then when you go here, you have 4 modules to complete, and each module is like, it goes very, very in depth. You have to complete these modules to get this. You get badges, and you can put them on your Microsoft portal, and then you can share that on your LinkedIn as well. It'll be much more better for you, and it shows that you have progressively grown. When an employer looks at your LinkedIn profile. Right now, it's very good for you guys to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Trust me, a lot of recruiters will come in and ask you about things. Okay. Let me just go into, if you guys don't have LinkedIn, please do create a LinkedIn account. I'm just going to share my, and make sure to, put in your available to work. Okay. And your profile, you should include all the things that you have possibly done, your courses, what you're doing, what you're working on. Okay. Like your certifications will come like this. And people can go in here and validate your certifications. So my PMP, people can actually go in here and click on show credentials. And let me just do view tab. Sorry. Sorry. You guys can see this. Okay, perfect. And they can actually go in here, and the reason why you put this is people can go and see, okay, did Sharon or Ramesh or Udesh or Annie or Nitra or Sam has actually got the certification. They can actually click on verify, and it tells them when you got it, what certification you got, and what is the name it's registered under. So this is so now you don't have to present a certification. It can be verified instantly. Okay, and let me go back to the LinkedIn here. Same thing with Microsoft. I think I have honestly most of the, if you see here, these are all Microsoft ones, right? 365 identity and services. If you go in here, people can verify this. Okay, and you click on verify, and they can know exactly what data I've gotten, and it's still, is it valid or not. So, sometimes some certification will expire. I think my Microsoft one has already expired, I think. So if you see here, I think my AZ 104 Microsoft Azure, if I show this one, I think it'll expire June. Oh, I think it probably did expire already. But this is my Microsoft Azure one, okay? And this goes to the Microsoft portal for them to verify. And this is how yours will be too. Okay. This is why it's very important for you to optimize your LinkedIn and put in everything that is you can. This is like an advertisement platform, right? And trust me, I get so many messages from recruiter for jobs, just because I have it properly put up and everything there. Okay, it's very good platform for you to advertise yourself. Don't be shy about advertising yourself. Okay? Let me go back here. So these are the modules that you should be completing. This will give you I would say, if the certification is 100%, this will give you at least 40 to 60% knowledge when you complete this. And and don't be shy. You can do this again and again until you understand this. Once you understand this, go to the YouTube links I shared with you last class and do those videos to understand even more. Follow the videos, and they give you guides on how to do it. And then book your exams and do the exams, right? So, but at least this will give you a very good hands-on exercise, a very good understanding of concept, and then you do the exam. Even though you study dumps, you'll have a very good knowledge of what is Azure. When you go into interviews, you'll know. And then if you want, you can pursue to get your Microsoft Administrator certifications too, which will give you a better stand in getting landing a much more in deeper jobs. But for entry-level jobs, we just suggest stick with the fundamentals more than enough. Okay. Any questions so far, guys, about the certifications? The training for certifications? Okay. So let's go back to the portal here. Okay. So if you go here, I hope you guys, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in there. Okay. So there's a couple of menus that you want to be familiarize yourself with. One is called Rubik's Cube. Okay. You see how there's 6 dots here? This is called Rubik's Cube menu. Okay. When you click on this, a set of menus will open up. Now, this is something that Microsoft did only from last year, I think. This will give you access to other Microsoft services, okay? Microsoft applications, it's called, okay? Microsoft applications. You see here, you have the Azure portal. You can access other portals from here, which you'll get used to from the next couple of classes. When we do Office 365, you'll see how this will become very easy for you, okay? This is to go into your Microsoft Azure portal. This is for Copilot Studio, which is a Microsoft AI tool. Okay, and this is called Microsoft Defender. This is for security. Okay, when you do MDM management. This is for Microsoft DevOps portal. This is for Enter ID, which we'll look at in Azure too. This is a big concept that you have to understand. Okay, and just to go here, Intune is for device management. Okay, this is a big topic too that we'll cover. Intune, Microsoft has made it over I think a year and a half ago that even studying you have to pay for it. Which don't worry, I'll send you some videos in so you can look at it and get yourself familiarized with how Intune works. Because it's paid, if you want, if it's optional for you to get the paid service and look at it, but I'll send you videos on exactly how this will work. Okay? Next is Microsoft 365 Admin. We'll definitely cover this in depth, very in depth on how to create email addresses, how to manage email addresses, how do you assign role-based access, okay, which is what a huge thing about nowadays, okay? And other portal you can go from here. Before, what I'm talking about is year ago or a year and a half ago, you have to memorize a portal name by hand and do it. It's become so hard for management, okay? You understand when we do Office 365 and Intune and everything, it just becomes so hard for you to manage the portals, just remembering it. Okay, so the next is, it's called the extensive menu, okay? The 3-line over here. When you click on it, they might have a different word now. They have changed different wording now. Maybe in some of the older video, if you see on YouTube, Enter ID will be called Azure Active Directory, Azure AD, but it's called Enter ID. Now I'll go through it when we go a little bit down the course. So if you click on the extensive menu, it's called what we used to call, but now I think it's a different naming now. I'll tell you guys once I find out. You'll see all the options you have available here. Okay, you can add things to your favorite here, and you have access to your creative resource. Okay, we'll talk about what these are just a little bit late now. Okay. Any questions so far, guys, in this? Perfect. Okay. So let's go to today's lesson, and then we'll go into the Enter ID. Okay, we'll start creating some accounts, and we'll have some class activity going forward. Okay. Okay, Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure is a cloud platform that provides services like storage, computing, networking over internet. IT help desk analysts use Azure to manage user access and support cloud-based tools like Microsoft 365. So Microsoft Azure is just not it's not a website where you go into. It's pretty much, think of it like it's a toolbox. Think of it like a toolbox, right? Where all the tools are involved. Everything gets controlled from there. Okay, so it has storages. So people can have things stored in there. They can have applications stored in there. Microsoft Azure controls pretty much everything in Azure. Okay, everything that Microsoft product. It controls networking over internet. It's a new concept, but it's something that it goes in depth into network administration, and computing is more system administration, and storage is more of database administration. Okay, and all comes into one portal. And Azure also controls device administration as well, which is Intune. And Office 365 is now the email and everything exchange. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys, please. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. So, yeah, as we talked about, Microsoft Azure is a toolbox for all the services that Microsoft provide. It can be controlled from one location, or it can be managed from one location, which is Microsoft Azure. Even though everything has its own portal, it can be controlled from Azure as well. Okay. So when in terms of, if you guys remember, we talked about onboarding someone, making sure somebody comes into the organization, they would first start from the Microsoft Azure and go into other portals, okay? Which we'll look at from the Azure first, and then we'll look in Office 365. These are the two places that you guys will be playing around with, okay? These are the two that you will need to get yourself familiar with. You need to understand how to onboard someone, how to offboard someone, and how to do a role change. What I mean by role change is like this, okay? Let's say Ramesh is coming in as technical support 1, okay? He's doing a basic support 1. But 6 months from now, the manager finds out Ramesh is doing excellent job, and he promotes him to team lead or a level 2 support, right? The access will change depending on what type of role he plays, right? So there needs to be some change to access. You'll need to know how to do that properly. You'll never know what access level 2 will get, but that has been provided by either the manager of the department or the HR will give you what the role they need to give. But you need to know how to do that role change, okay? Which we'll look at in Azure as well. And then we need to know if somebody gets fired, how do you actually properly remove their account so they cannot go outside the organization and do harmful things to the organization, okay? It's to control them. And once it's almost like, imagine like creating them in a universe, and imagine growing them. And if you want to kill them, you can kill them here. Okay, and it kills them in all the other services in Microsoft. And it could be controlled. And access is given. What I mean access is where you can go, what you can see, what you can do, can be managed in Azure, as well as other portals as well. This might not exactly make sense right now, but once you start playing it, you'll see how it exactly works. Okay. You guys have any questions so far? Okay, awesome. Let's continue. Okay, as we talked about, Azure is a platform where it's a cloud platform. It hosts all the things, okay? We just talked about this. Type of cloud services, okay? This is very important. There's different cloud services, okay? Cloud is a big concept, okay? A cloud has only these 3 services. It must fall into one of these, okay? IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. These are 3 things, and these things you guys need to understand when you guys will be asked this in the interview. So please write these down, or please try to memorize these, because you'll need to know what these are. Okay. IaaS means infrastructure as a service. PaaS means platform as a service. SaaS means software as a service. What I give some example. Infrastructure as a service means infrastructures are like things are like compute, like hardware, right? So it has to do with infrastructure. It's a physical hardware, right? So you can actually virtualize a physical hardware. Remember, we already studied about virtual machines, right? So virtual machines means, as a company, let's say Sharon has to buy a computer, and then she has to put a Windows on it or whatever operating system she likes, and she has to manage it, right? Now, let's say Sharon sometimes she needs a powerful computer. 3 days in a week, she needs a very powerful computer, which is like $3,000. But the rest of the 4 days, she does not need a powerful computer. She just needs an average, small, a very, very low computer, because she doesn't do much. Instead of buying, a $3,000 computer, what she can do is she can rent the $3,000 computer based on the hours she needs it from Azure as a hardware, right? Infrastructure. So she's just virtually renting it, okay, as a virtual machine. She can use it. And then when she doesn't need the resources, she can just claw back and start using only the minimal computer. So she can fluctuate her cost. She doesn't have to spend $3,000. Maybe her cost now goes down to, weekly she's just only spending $30 because she's leveraging the power of cloud. She can use a very powerful computer for 8 hours. Even in 3 days, she's probably only using for 4 hours, right, of doing actual work for the thing. So she's only renting it for based on what hours she's using. So she's renting the infrastructure from them. And she can draw back, she can shut down, she can turn on, she can do all of it. That is infrastructure. Okay? You're playing with the whole machine itself, and you can control the whole machine itself. Okay? That is called infrastructure. When you control the whole computer, when you control the whole machine itself. Okay. Now, if you want to go, okay, I don't need the machine itself. I don't need to control the machine. Give me just the service itself. Like, let's say you just share, like Annie just wants to run her business. She's doing a clothing business, okay? She wants to run her just the website. She does not want to manage the Windows. She does not want to install any updates. She does not want to do, like, manage a storage or anything like that. She just wants to host her website and she just wants to get over with it. She has a busy life. Okay, let Microsoft says, okay, I'll give you a service. Host your website, I'll give you that as a service. That is called hosting as a platform as a service, where like you can go and put in your website. You can, let's say, you can even like, what else is there? You can do website is a very good scenario. I'm just trying to think of something from my mind that can give you a very good example. Like, if she wants to run a like a like a YouTube type of website, right? Like, if you want to host a video, if you want to just do a video player, she just wants to somebody just go in and watch videos, right? Just because she doesn't want to have someone like create like a host server and do a thing. She'd host a web application, right? That's a hosting web application. Anything to do with web application service. That is called a platform as a service. Now she doesn't want to even do a website, right? She just wants to use a software that's been created by Microsoft, like email services, or like Microsoft, like email services is a very good example, like Office 365. She just wants to rent it, okay? She can just rent it from Microsoft, just as the software as it is. She can rent the Microsoft 365 just to do an email change, right? Email, sending emails and receiving emails. She can rent it from Microsoft Office 365 for a lower cost, or whatever she wants, the plan that fits in her budget, right? That is called software as a service, when she can rent the software that Microsoft created for a small amount of fee, instead of creating the software herself and hosting it herself, managing it herself. Okay, that's why these are three services that any cloud platform you take, any even if you go online and look at it, if you look at your Gmail, where do you think that falls under?
Software as a service.
Perfect, SaaS. Where do you think YouTube will fall under?
Same software as a service.
See, that's the thing I would want you to think differently. That'll be platform as a service. You know why? Because it's a web hosting, right? They're hosting web application. Let's say YouTube itself, the company, will need to host somewhere. They need to have their website somewhere, right? The website is in something called platform as a service, a PaaS, PaaS, platform as a service. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Like, think of like Hotmail. Hotmail is a platform as a service. Sorry, software as a service. If you think about like even the Google Meets we're doing, this is a software as a service. We're doing a meeting, right? This is software as a service.
And what about Facebook?
Yeah, there'll be a platform as a service.
Okay.
Yeah, but think of it not from a consumer standpoint. Don't think from like you using Facebook, but think of from Facebook standpoint, right? Them doing something, right? That'll be like the platform as a service. So if a company comes in and asks you, okay, hey, Annie, I need to, I'm looking to do an email server. Is it cheaper for us to go with software as a service, or should we do as a platform as a service? The two different is you have to think about it this way. Platform as a service means you have to create your own, you have to manage your own webmail services in a SaaS, not SaaS, IaaS, infrastructure as a service, because you have to rent the server, you have to put your own email server in, and you have to manage it, right? Now, all the management is you. You're the one who's doing everything from end to end. But let's say you rent the platform from, there's a webmail platform you can actually rent and put your webmail service in there. And you're running just the platform itself. You're renting the webmail platform. But if you go with Gmail or Microsoft 365, Azure also has email services too. If you go with them, they'll manage everything. They'll take care of security. They'll take care of everything, right? But you're just using the email services. Okay. I think in the next slide, I will. Coming slides, I should have. Yeah, it's. 1 second. I'll give you a better thing. Okay, so share this tab. It's just give me 1 second. Sorry, my computer is being slow. I'm just trying to open up my storage. I saved this thing too. All right, there you go. Okay, if you look at this one, this shows you. So let me close this. Sorry. Okay, so this shows you. So if you have the server in your place, right? This shows you customer responsibility, meaning your responsibility. This means vendor responsibility. Whoever you're renting the thing from, let's say it's Azure, AWS, or GCP, right? This is a metrics, okay? So if you own the computer at your place, you're responsible for the server, you're responsible for the storage, you're responsible for the networking, you're responsible for virtualization, you're responsible for operating system, you're responsible for middleware, meaning anything that needs to run the server. You're responsible for runtime, meaning if the computer, how long, if there's a power outage, if there's internet outage, if there's hardware failure, you need to make sure it's up and online pretty much all the time when you need it to access, right? You're responsible for the application, you're responsible for data. But if you go with the IaaS, infrastructure as a service, now the vendor, which means Azure, AWS, or GCP, is responsible for making sure the servers are up to date and it's running. They're responsible for making sure storage available and it's running. They're available for making sure that networking is working perfectly. They're responsible for making sure the virtualization is running perfectly. What you are responsible for as a customer or as an administrator, you're responsible to make sure the operating system is running perfectly fine. The middleware, anything that needs to make sure the application, everything that needs to run perfectly fine is running, you're responsible for, okay? The runtime, making sure that you update it, you make sure that the Windows does not crash, the software doesn't crash, not the hardware, the software wise, okay? The apps are running perfectly fine. The data is working perfectly fine. Okay, that's IaaS. Your responsibility and their responsibility. Okay. So whereas if you go with PaaS as a platform as a service, now you see the responsibility. It's the responsibility that you're passing to the next person. Okay. In the corporate environment, a lot of people will say you'll hear this word called risk avoidance or risk avoidance or risk diversion. There's another word for it. It'll come to my mind. I'll tell you. There's a nice word for it, meaning you're not holding the responsibility. Somebody else is just better for in terms of insurance wise. Because if you're, let's say, you're a public company, it's bad for you to get a news saying that Ramesh has forgot to to do the update, so the computer crashed, or Ramesh did not check the dust or anything like that, so the computer crashed, right? It's on a public company. If it comes on the news, it's very bad. So whereas if they rent it as a SaaS or a PaaS or IaaS, it's mostly the company who's hosting. It's their responsibility. They can just easily say, okay, it's a company's fault. It's not our fault. We'll fix the company. It just publicly it makes sense, and for the company, it's just prestige issue. Because then nobody will trust the company, right? That's where it is. So if you see the past, they're responsible for server, they're responsible for storage, they're responsible for networking, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime is done. You're one responsible for application and data. And then your SaaS, everything is their responsible. You're not. You're just making sure you're using it properly. That's all. You're using it, let's say, okay? But if you think about it, if you go down this line, right, SaaS will be cheaper than getting IaaS, infrastructure as a service, is cheaper than getting a SaaS as a service. Is because you're paying more in fees for them to manage. Okay. Does that give you guys a very good understanding of how this works? Why a lot of companies moving towards you getting into SaaS is because they make more money, but also company benefits from this too, is because now they can avoid the risk. The risk avoidance is there. They can just say, okay, Microsoft, you're responsible for it. It was turned off for this many hours. I'm not going to pay you. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. And let me. Everything is done for you. You just use it. Yeah. SaaS is everything is done for you. You're just using it, and no, you shouldn't get any issues. And Microsoft has something called SLA. And okay, let me share the screen for you guys. So if you go on Google, type in Azure SLA for IaaS. So this is what's called a service level agreement. So it's basically a promise that they make to the customer as you sell, that they will have this device accessible for you for this many amount of time. It will never be 100%. Let's give that frank. There's no thing that's 100%. It'll be 99.9% of the time, or 99.8% of the time, like that. Okay, SLA. So service level agreement, online services. Okay, and it goes like this, and then you get the histories behind it. So you can see here, service agreement for July, month of July 1, 2025. Okay, and every month they'll release it. So if you go here, there's a report. Oh, it's a document report. Let me see if there's an online report you can get. SLA board. Yeah, I don't have docs installed on this. I mean, Word document installed on this thing, so that's the reason why. I need to get it installed, but I don't use this computer enough to install it. That's the reason why I can't. Yeah, this will, I think, give us a broad understanding of, okay, so this will give us the services. If you see here, API management, we guarantee the API management. This is from the Azure website, okay? Not third-party website. I'm looking at Azure website, okay? 99.9% of the time. I'm just looking at Microsoft. See, there's never in anywhere they have mentioned 100%, okay? There's no such thing as 100%. Some of them, if you see here, you'll say 99%, not 99.9, 99%, okay? Cool access tier. So you just have to understand, SLA means a promise they have made to the organization, the customer, that they will provide a service this much uptime. They'll minimize the downtime, okay? Meaning you will be able to use a service this much reliability, okay? Some services, when Azure started, they were at, I think, 78 and 89% or something like that, but they have improved it now, significantly improved it now, okay? But it's something you can expect. Let me go here, share the stuff. Okay, so any questions so far, guys, on that? Yeah, go ahead, share.
So is it like if I'm running a business, IaaS means I'm just renting the hardware, what is required for my business, and then whatever rest which I have to do online, even if it's to show how my business works, maybe it's a website, rest of the application which I need for my business online, I do it. And when it comes to PaaS, that means I rent the hardware plus all the platform handling from Azure. So they
Exactly.
do website and rest of the things, or even let's say make a advertisement through YouTube for me. Is it like that? And then
No, no,
SaaS
no.
means the
You are very right on this IaaS, infrastructure as a service. I'll just correct you on the past. Okay, so think of it like this: if you're running a business, as you said, what they'll give you is they'll give you a hardware, they'll give you a proper operating system, they'll make sure the operating system is available 99.9% of whatever the promise they make. Right? Your responsible is to make sure the website you design the website, you put the website correctly, you make sure the website is online. Okay, you make sure the data on the website is backed up properly. You're responsible for everything inside the website and anything to do with the website. Okay, does that make sense?
okay. So when it goes to pass, they run the website, whatever
Yeah,
needs to the website.
yeah. Pass is they'll give you everything up to the website. So if you think about it, like the server, the operating system, the networking, making sure people can access the computer, they'll do it. You're responsible for designing the website, putting the website, and making sure the website is running properly, doing security on the website, making sure the information on the website is stored safely, and it can be backed up regularly. It's all your job.
Okay, so when it goes to SaaS, all these things are done by
Yeah,
Microsoft for
exactly.
me.
Yeah, everything's done by
Oh,
Microsoft. All you're doing is you're telling what type of design you like. Maybe you're doing the drag and drop stuff or anything like that, or they can even do that for you. It depends on the company you go with. All you have to do is maybe they'll tell you just give us a design. We'll do everything else. They'll do
okay,
from hosting.
mhm.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Just my feedback or what I like to be my online platform.
Mhm.
Just a feedback for SaaS, and they do the entire thing.
Yeah, they do entire thing, and they make sure it's security. They make sure the data is safe. They make sure in case of something happens, they're responsible making sure the website's up to date, up on online, right? So customer can buy. You tell them, be like, hey, let's say I'm sharing. I tell Microsoft, okay, I'm going to be expecting 10,000 customers a day. I want to make sure my site does not go offline. I want to make sure it can be accessed anywhere. I want to make sure the when people are making payments, the data is safe. Everything you tell them, they make sure it's like that. And if they cannot keep up the promise, they won't charge you for it. They give you some money back or something like that. Because they're insufficient to manage the SaaS has caused your business outage. They'll give you some refund, not from your business amount, from their the service you use from them, right? So does that make sense?
Got it, sir.
Yeah, but very good question. Very, very good question. One second. Okay, now we just talk about things. Okay, Azure has regions and data centers. I think we went over this last class, right? Azure gets hosted in different countries. They have tons and tons of cloud, like basically warehouses of servers in all over the countries. Okay, and they usually have one or two, or like if it's a big country, they'll have one in the west coast, they'll have one in the east side, west side, central, so everybody can access pretty fast. And you can rent a server from a SaaS from one of these locations, or you can rent from multiple locations. Okay. And when you go as a platform as a service, same thing. You can host it in a one location, or you can host in multiple locations. But you pay if you want to host in multiple locations, you pay for it. Okay. But when it comes to the SaaS, they have to make sure it's accessible from everywhere. It costs more, but they'll make sure it's accessible from everywhere. Okay. They'll host everywhere pretty much. Pretty much all over the world they're hosted, so you can easily access it. You can set some restriction. I know government, because Azure does a lot of government projects now, because government agencies restrict their information from storing outside the country, just for intelligence purposes, right? For military intelligence purposes, because you cannot, just in case Canadian intelligence information cannot be shared with other countries, which is secrets, right? The Canadian secrets, right? So they make sure that the server they use, it has to be inside Canada, and Azure will sign a document saying that how it works is, I'll give you a briefing. So any government servers they use for military purposes, government purposes, anything, right? From civilian to intelligence to military service, they do have Azure services now. They must. That's the reason why they built it in Canada. It's a huge amount of money they make, right? It's from Azure. But they have an SLA agreement saying that if any information gets leaked, Azure will take the blame for it, basically. So they'll have to say that Azure is responsible for data leakage. They'll protect it. Government pays a huge shit ton of money, let's say, to manage this. Okay, sorry for my foul language, but they make huge amount of money from government just to keep the data safe. But they have a so usually Nova Consumer, you will not be able to host anything on the government service. They have another warehouse. They keep it. It's not publicly available. Same thing for US. Same thing for European. Same thing for other countries too, except for China. They don't have any servers in China. Okay, I don't think so. I don't think Azure has any Azure data center. I don't think they have anything in China. They do have. Okay, I'm wrong. Sorry, they do. Certified, dedicated for China. Yeah. So this is only for Chinese government. Usually, if you know about China, no countries like to store any data in China. Okay, it's because Chinese government will have explicit right on what they can store, and they need to see the information. Even Chinese iPhones are. If you go into Chinese country and use your iPhone, your data must be shared with the Chinese government. Okay, it's their policy they have. It's because the communist country, right? So they have the policy. So anything you store on Chinese servers, it's 100% accessible to the government. Even the Windows operating system they use in China, Windows must allow a backdoor, meaning government has easy access to anyone's system at any given point in time. Okay. Okay. Let me share. Okay, guys, it's a 1 hour mark. Let's take a 15 minutes break. Okay, it's 1:30. Let's meet back at 1:45. Okay, let's take a 15 minutes break and let's continue. Okay, guys. See you guys in 15 minutes. Okay, 1:45. Thank you. Sorry, guys, just give me a minute, okay, please. All right, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let me share the screen here. Okay, well, not this. Okay, so this is where we left off, okay? So, well, as we talked about Azure and everything, the real use of Azure is hosting website and application, backup of data. There's something called disaster recovery. Remember we talked briefly about this in our early on in our class. If something happens to our servers or anything like that, we can create a backup and have the backup taken automatically and keep it aside for us. Just in case our current server or services crashes, we can always restore from it. Okay, it's um it's a very it's a very easy and very easy to maintain for system administrator to create a backup and have it offsite. And in case of any disaster, within matter of minutes or hours, they can get the server back up online and get the company to start to work, right? So this is what disaster recovery called. Or even if the building is completely down and they can't work from the building, they can move to another location and start working from there. Okay, it's very easy. It's not now because you don't have anything on site, everything's remote. You're as long as you have internet access, you can pretty much access it, right? But where it comes to an issue is, let's say the data center in Toronto completely goes offline, right? Like something happens where it just gets flooded, or let's say lightning struck, or something. The building just catches on fire, right? You can it's if you're in IaaS as a infrastructure as a service, or a platform as a service, you're responsible for hosting it in multiple locations, or creating a backup maybe in the US location if you can, or in the Montreal location, right? Just keeping another backup of it. That you're also responsible for. Are not you, but the system administrator responsible for, right? So that's the reason why it's disaster recovery is so easy. Instead of now buying another set of hardware and keeping in Montreal, you can just do a cloud, and it's very instant, okay, to do the backup and recovery. Okay, that's why Azure is very, very good. Running virtual desktops. Let's say you have someone that just needs to access for a couple of days. You don't need to send them a laptop. You can have them use from their laptop, but use our RDP. Remember we talked about this remote desktop protocol to access the internet without them even needing a physical computer. It's so much easier. Okay. Introduction to Azure Active Directory. It's called now Entra ID. This has been updated. It's called Entra ID. Okay, it's not Azure AD anymore. It's called Entra ID. We'll look at it when we go into Azure Portal. So remember we talked about a centralized location to control user accounts is called Active Directory, but now it's been renamed, rebranded into Entra ID by Azure. They just changed the name. It was so random. They changed it. It's always been Active Directory for the past, I think, 30 years or something, but 30 or 40 years. All of a sudden, they changed the Entra ID to make it more newer fashion. Okay, that's what they call it. Give it a different think of how you can do it. Okay. This is basically a cloud-based identity management system. Okay. It's a cloud-based identity management system. It's just basically to verify if Udesh is coming in and saying he's Udesh, it's to verify Udesh is who he's saying it is. Okay, it's for authentication purposes. Okay, and authorization purposes. So it's just to basically to verify if the user is who he is. Okay, but through the base of cloud. Before it used to be on premises, right? We have to have it on site for that to happen. But now because of the cloud, they changed the name into Entra ID just to make it more newer version, okay? Newer fashion. It controls login and access to application and services. Okay, guys? How Enter ID. It's I put as Active Directory, but it's Enter ID. Okay. You might go into Workplace. A lot of people are still talking about Azure Active Directory. It's Enter ID. Okay. Just make sure you write that down somewhere. Users sign in using one account. Azure Active Enter ID or Azure AD checks the credentials and permissions. Access is granted based on policies. So what this means is nowadays company uses something called SSO. You might want to write that down. SSO. It's called single sign-on. Instead of having one login and password for your email, one login and password for your computer, one login and password for your, let's say, your Microsoft 365, let's say another login password for security cameras, one login password for your company HR, your payroll system, your how you receive paychecks, right? Instead of having separate account and separate login, you can have one ID and one login to log into all the applications, okay? Which means, think of it this way. When you join the company, all they have to do is just create one account and one login. That's all they have to give to the user. And as a user, all they have to remember is one username, one password, okay? Anything to do with the workplace. And also think of it like this. When they leave the company, it's easy for us to revoke their access, to remove their access. All we have to do is disable one account and disable everywhere else. Instead of a normal, typical, small size company will have at least minimum, 10 to 20 different services or accounts that they need to manage, right? And if somebody leaves the company, someone can forget to remove one account, one account on one website, and that's how they get hacked, guys, back in the day. And sometimes the hackers will use the information to get in, right? And that's easy for hackers to go in and access a system like that and make some changes or get even more access to the system, okay? It's very, very easy for things to happen like that. So that's why they came up with a single sign-on. Everybody's using single sign-on now, and it's managed through either Enter ID, or like Azure has single sign-on too, GCP has single sign-on too. But the basics are one username, one password for everything else. Okay. Now this was 2 years ago. Go ahead, Annie.
Sir, it will be easy to manage the roles and responsibilities for a user with single sign-on.
Yeah, exactly. Because now all you have to do is give them, if they need access to Microsoft 365, right? You just add that onto the account. That's it, and they instantly have access to it. They don't have to go set up. They don't have to create a new account. Even Adobe, if they want a professional Acrobat Pro, Adobe supports single sign-on for Microsoft. All they have to do is just enable them, purchase a license, and boom, magically have access. Next second. All they have to do is use the same username, same password as they do with their company account, login, access.
Okay, and if for one service, company wants to issue the user as owner role, and for the other service, they want that the same user to be the reader role, and will it be possible with single sign?
Yeah. 100%. So everything you can do based out of permissions, right? So policies. So let's say if I want Annie to have full owner access to Adobe Pro, right? So she can purchase license for other people, she can remove other people, she can modify people's license, fine. But let's say where it goes to Microsoft 365, IT is the only one that has responsibility. She'll only have user account. She'll only have read access to the account. She can just go in and access account as a user. That's it. And that can be set down based on policies. And it's just saying that, okay, Adobe, she has full owner access. For Microsoft 365, she just has a user access or read-only access. It's very, very easy. And it's just a matter of fact of searching the name and adding it to the account. You'll see how easy it is. When we go just slightly a little bit down the road, just down the slides in this class, you'll see something called RBAC, Role-Based Access Control. What that says is if Annie's playing, let's say Annie's playing a role of manager, right? She has 300 staffs working under her. And IT will set up the basic account, they'll set up everything else. But she wants to decide, or she wants to be in control of who gets Adobe Pro, who gets maybe, CapCut to make videos, or who gets access to Photoshop, right? She can actually add them by herself because she has owner access. But she can't do that same thing with Microsoft 365. Is because it's two different types of policies. We can set up unlimited amount of policies to control unlimited amount of things. Imagination is the only limit, to be honest, when you go into this. Like when you go into administration, it's you can manipulate whatever you want, however you want, whatever way you want, and everything is done through the basis of role-based access control. If let's say if Sharon is a manager of IT, her role will be different from Annie, who's a manager of HR. Or if let's say if Nitra is a team lead for database administration, he'll have a different access. It's all based on the role. So why they built this thing? When we go down the road, I'll explain it. I just don't want to get ahead of it, so and I have to skip the slides. But does that make sense, Annie?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
want to confirm whether with same username and password, can we assign user the different roles or not?
Oh, 100%. Like let's say some companies, they don't have budget to, assign one person for cybersecurity, one person for, manager, one person for things. So you can even add like unlimited amount of roles to each person. They'll just have to switch between the roles. Even in IT, you might be given, basically you'll be given, when you start off, you might be given a starting role, right? Which is like an entry level IT. But you'll have another role in your system called IT administrator, and you could swap between each roles whenever you need it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, they can add unlimited roles, and you can just swap between the roles, and you can even set up on these dates are only the dates that like let's say Ramesh can be administrator, and these days he'll be just a help desk analyst because there may be shortage in staff, right? And it can be down to dates, times, location, the computer. Yeah, it's as I said. Imagine your imagination is the only limit you have. You can, as long as you know how to control it as administrator. Once you do Azure for 104 administration, you'll see how much control you can take over Azure and how much secure you can make it. Okay, well, very good question. Active Directory versus on-premises Active Directory. So this one, if you look up it in the now time, this will be Enter ID versus on-premises Active Directory. Okay, on-premises is still called Active Directory. On-premises Active Directory runs locally, needs a server. It needs actually a physical machine in your location to run. Okay, or in a location that you can access regularly. Okay, remotely too. It doesn't matter, but you have to own the physical server, and the Active Directory goes on there. Whereas Enter ID runs on the cloud, so you don't need any location. As long as you have connection to internet, you can do it. Azure Enter ID, now it's called AD in the slides, but it's called Enter ID, is better for remote access and cloud application. Everybody's moving towards there. Okay, it's just easier, cheaper, cost effective. Think of it like this way. A normal typical company works from, let's say, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. From 6 p.m. to 7 a.m., they're not doing much work. So they can actually bring down the servers. They can actually run the server under minimal, very, very basic needs. And then they can boost the thing automatically up at 7 a.m., right? When everybody starts coming into work. They can double it at 8 o'clock and slow it down midday because everybody is signing in and, a lot of work, right? So they can double the server at 7 o'clock and slowly bring it down at 11 a.m. And then it goes down, and then it goes down to very, very minimal service after 5. And then again at 7 a.m. it starts to be up, right? Everything can be automated. And you don't have to pay for $150 an hour server when you're not using it, right? You can go down to even $10 an hour server, when you're not using it. So you can actually bring down the cost significantly low. As administrator, that's your job when you do administrator. But now you're doing help desk. That's not part of your role, but that's the imagination you have. So sorry, give me 1 second, please. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so yeah, it's far better for remote control application for Azure. Okay, and it just leads to a better management control. Any questions over, guys? Awesome. Enter ID, Azure Enter ID in Microsoft 365. Azure Entra ID powers Microsoft 365 logins. Okay, as we talked about single sign-on, Microsoft products all now use a single sign-on by default. It's the most easiest way once you create anything, and you can give them access to use Microsoft 365 just by adding in license. Okay, it's just about now adding in license. Okay, that's all it's about. Manages access to Word, Excel, Team, Outlook, SharePoint. They have a bunch of software services that you can use, all from one single sign-in. If you go outside of Microsoft product, all other enterprise level software does support single sign-on. So you just have to, my administrator will set it up, okay, for the company, and it'll work seamlessly for users. The best thing is it ensures security and seamless experience for user. It's so much easier for the user. It's just they don't have to worry about anything. They don't have to worry about memory. Okay. Now, can someone tell me, there's a concept that we talked about in last class. There's a concept of login that it just came out recently. We talked about last class. Can you guys tell me, remember that? We talked about they removed something that, you know, it allowed people to like do the attacks or something like that, right? It's a new way of security, I said last class. Okay, remember we talked about passwordless sign-in? So no more password for logging in. Remember we talked about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So imagine like that. So the password sign-in is just becoming very popular and very secure nowadays. So every company is implementing it. So remember this: if you're somebody working for a company, all you have to have a username, and you just have to have a phone on yourself, right? Your company provided phone. Usually it's company provided phone. Okay. They do allow for personal phones too. It just depends on the company you go to work for. Now you don't have a password. All you do is you just put in your email address. You get a code sent to your phone. It's randomized, and you just put that in. You log in, and it's the most secure, seamless login and single sign-on. So you get all in one. How does that sound, guys? Does it just sound like it's, you know, it's just everything is just getting, you know, into more secure, more seamless, and you see it's more oriented towards customer service. See, that's where the whole service is going towards, customer-oriented services, okay? Yet providing the security as it needed. Yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
So is it the push button? Is that the one? Like we are sent a notification to allow access, deny access, and then.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when you try to log into your Hotmail account now, you don't have to enter in password. Your phone will just get a message from the authenticator pop up saying that enter the number and allow or deny or enter a number, right? That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good. Analogy. Yes, exactly what it is, and that is now called the passwordless login. It's the most secure. It is being recommended by NIST, National Institution of Science and Technology, and also CIA as well. I think CIA does a lot of threat handling too, so it's getting very popular there. Okay. Okay. What is RBAC? Remember we talked about RBAC? Role-based access control lets you assign. So sorry, I just want to give you a briefer. There used to be images over here, okay? But the images have some reason they're linked to a Microsoft site. Because Microsoft changes sites so often, the image is all gone. That's the reason why you see this square with no images here. They usually use the images, but Microsoft decided to change their website a little bit, so it's been taken off. I'll try to refill them in next time, but it's just we have to link them to Microsoft site, so it just sometimes goes away like that. So RBAC lets you assign permission by job role. Let's say if Sharon is a IT administrator, right? She does not need to do any task that is involving HR. She does not need to do anything that has to do with database administrator, right? Even in IT, She just has to do a role. So what we say in IT is the access should be only to do your job, specifically to your job, nothing more, nothing less. So when I mean by nothing less is your role, your permission should not stop you from performing your duty, and your permission should not allow you to do more than your duty. Okay. It's called least access mode. So you never give everyone all access and take it afterwards. Okay, you only give them access they need. Even if it's less access than they need, you can always add on more. You can never remove. It's not that you can never remove more, but it's about adding as you need, but not removing when you give full access. Okay, it should not be when you give full access and remove as they don't need. It should be as they need, they request access. Okay, it's called least access mode. Okay. Just write that down. That's probably something that you guys, it's a good thing to say in the interview too. Least access mode, least access mode, okay? Least, well, at least less, least access mode, okay? That's what it's called. Scope level of RBAC. Role can be assigned to management group top level, subscription, resource group, or resources. These are the 4 different levels of group that you can see inside of a RBAC role. Okay, management group meaning you can delete, you can create, you can modify. Okay, subscription means you can go in and see. Resource group means you can have access to the whole subscription, like a whole folder. You won't be able to delete, you won't be able to edit. You can only, it's more of viewing, and it's more of for editing certain things in it, okay, in a group. Resource means lowest level, just to go through it, because you might have to have access to go into the folder to go to the next folder. Okay, just so you can go down the doors. Imagine there's 10 different doors, right? You have to access to get to the 10th. There's door number 1 and then up to door number 10, right? But you're supposed to only go into the room of number 10. You still need to go bypass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, right, to go to number 10. So you'll have the access to go through number 9 until 9, but you can't go in and modify, see, or anything like that. You can go through the folder. You can maybe see what's there, but you can't go in and change anything. Okay. So you'll just be able to go in, and you just need to go through the doors to go to number 10. That's what it is. Okay. Built-in role explained. So these are the different types of roles that's already built into them. Okay, any role you take, you'll have 3 different access levels into any role. We'll look at the roles when we go down the class, so you'll see it. Read-only group, reader group. So you can only view it, you can only see what's there. The next is contributor. You can view and make changes to the data itself. Okay. Owner, you have full control over data. So roles are for data itself. Okay. If you want to read data, if you want to just view the data itself, you can open up a document and you can see what's in the document itself. Okay. And you have something called contributor. You can go into the document, you can see the document, and you can edit changes to the document, but you cannot delete anything inside the document. Okay. The next is you have the permission to view, make changes, delete inside the document, or delete the document itself. Okay. And I believe there used to be another one called list. I'm just checking if Azure still has it. Yeah, they do have list. So which means you'll just see what file name that's are. You can't even enter into the file to see what document. You can't even enter into the document to see what the document has. Okay, it's called list. So yeah, there is a 4th one which is called list, which is what's used to go through. Remember that door analogy I told you? If you have to go to door number 10, but you're door number 1, you can just give the list permission to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then open the door 10 to see the content inside to modify anything there. Okay, it's called list. Creating a custom role. You can create your own. Go ahead, Annie.
Sir, in list, as you said, can we go directly to 10 number, or we have to move forward one by one from starting
You
from 1 and moving towards 10?
Very good question. You can actually go to number 10 directly if they give you the direct link to it. Okay, if I tell you exactly the address for number 10, you can actually go to the number 10. No problem at all. But sometimes if you lost the link, you can actually navigate from door 1 to 10. Okay, you can get an instant link to go to number 10. But sometimes if you don't have the link or if you don't see it, you can actually go through the doors to see number 10. The reason why I didn't have list there is because they don't give it in. It's not recommended to give list access. Is because nobody should be. The reason why we have role is you shouldn't be seeing even the file what's there because you don't need to see it, right? So you shouldn't be giving it. That's the reason why I didn't list it there in the in the three groups. It should be only read only, and you should be just emailing the link to the user or giving them access just to the thing read only, or whatever you need. You should not be using list unless they specifically want list, and they tell you they give you access to, they give you approval to give list.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, very good question. And remember that, guys, any of these access, just because somebody asks you, you should not be giving it. Always, somebody should be approving the access you're giving. It does not matter what type of access it is. Somebody should be approving it. Now, your company might say, anybody asking for read access, okay, it's okay, give it to them, right? Then that's okay. But somebody else should be approving it, and it should not be yourself. It should not be a colleague. It should be someone else from the department, right? It should be either your team lead or somebody from the team they're asking from. Your company team lead will tell you, you can ask them the first day is, what is your policy on approval for access? And they'll tell you it's either the owner, and you can easily find out the owner. They'll have a directory list. Your company will give you a directory list based on the department of whose approval is, and you'll know by the folder name who the approval is. The folder will clearly say it's HR, and you'll know from the directory, the HR manager is this, and they can give access. They can give approval for anyone below them, right? And anybody, if manager is asking for approval, maybe the director has to give them approval. And if the director is asking for approval, maybe the vice president has to give them approval. The CEO asks for anything, usually they give it to them. Okay, that's how access works. Any question on this, guys? Yeah. So list is something that we keep out of this. Is because list is something not a lot of people like to give anymore. They just give the direct link and that's it. Yes, Sharon, go ahead.
So I'm trying to think loud. So let's say me, Ramesh, and Annie is in HR, and we have created, let's say, HR related document. And Nasta and Udesh, let's say they are from two different departments. So, so list meaning they can see the document which is created by three of us.
They can just see the name. Let's say they can just, okay, so here I'll give you a very good example. That's a very good question you asked me. So let's say, okay, let me create a, okay, let's say this HR. Oh, sorry, let me just share this tab. Sorry, my apologies. Okay, this is how a company will have typically. Okay, they'll have their parent directory. I'll just give you some examples. Okay, let's say we create. Okay, let's say if you have just a list. Okay, let's say if you just have if let's say Udesh is trying to, so as you said, you mentioned if Udesh is trying to have HR, right? List function, he can go into here. He will be able to see these folders. Let's say he's only able to go into this folder, right? He can see these folders. When he goes here, it'll give him an access denied issue. But he can see these folders, okay? And if he goes in here, he can probably see these files in here. He can keep these he can see these text files. Imagine there's more than these, okay? But if he only has access to this file, he can only open this file out. Okay. You can only see this text file. But let's say the reason why this is not good to do is, let's say we have some sensitive file names in here, right? If Udesh is not supposed to see it, he will be able to see this because of list, okay? You might see this is called, employee salary folder. Imagine we give him, by accident, we give him list access to this too. In this file, he sees some files with names of other than Mahendra Kumar salary, Ramesh salary and everything. He doesn't need to see that, right? So nowadays we don't give list access. What we do is we just give direct access to this for this text file here. And what we'll do is we'll actually send him just this link. So meaning the link to here, this folder, just to the text file, we give him the link. That way, there's no way he'll be able to even see those folders or see those files, see anything here. He'll just be opening this file and that's it. Does that make sense, guys?
Got it, sir.
Yeah. Perfect. Very good question. That's why we stopped list functionalities, because it sometimes the naming of the file itself reveals a lot about the file, right? And once somebody knows the file exists there, and they trust me, once somebody wants to find out the information, they'll go 1,000 miles to get the information. Because it's once you let them see something, they'll never unsee it, right? And I can pull you some scenarios on, like, in the instance before, from even the previous companies are. One time, so there was a junior project manager and there's a senior project manager. The titles are exact same, project manager, but one has 14 years of experience, one is just started, right, 1 year experience. But the salary difference is one is getting $84,000 a year, one is getting $125,000 a year, okay? It's a huge difference, right? But somehow, because they had list access, she was able to see that the other person had a salary difference of significant amount. What is it? That's about $50,000 difference a year, right? So although we said, the years of experience, she came and complained to myself. Although we said it's a years of experience that changes, right? And she's the other person has been in the organization for more than 10 years. So obviously over the years she has made that much money, right? Her work ethics has dropped significantly low. So this damages the workflow, right? That's the reason why using list functionality sometimes hurts the business. That's the reason why they just want to give them access to just the file, not even the direction how they go. Okay. I hope that gives you a better understanding of why they stopped using list and they just use direct access to read only, or direct access to the file itself.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Creating custom roles. So you can actually, Microsoft Azure actually has a very good very good amount of already pre-created role-based access already in Microsoft Azure. Okay, so you can actually use it, and it's very, very good. But some cases that might not fit for your organization. Okay, so you can there's actually ways to create a custom role, which is not part of a help desk duty. Okay, it's always creation of new things are done by system administration. It will never be a system help desk or level 1, level 2 role. You'll have to have a further understanding of how role creation work, how administration work. Okay, but you need to understand there is custom. You can actually make custom roles based out of it. Okay, choose exact action allowed. So starting a VM, reading logs, you can actually create a custom role based out of their custom role they play in the organization. Right. This is always done by system administrator. Okay, or admin of Azure. What is IAM? So Intra ID uses something called identity and access management. You guys probably heard of this, a lot of this online. IAM, identity and access management. Okay, helps manage users and permission across Azure, Microsoft 365, anything you take Microsoft product. IAM can play a big role. It's like almost a centralized location for who are you, what type of access you should have, and how much access you should have, are all managed by IAM. Okay, it's these three. It's who are you basically. If Udesh is logging in, are you actually Udesh? Can you actually prove who Udesh is? Can you prove you are who you say? Okay, it's identity. Okay. Next is what type of access Udesh should have, what level of access Udesh should have, and where the access should be. Right. So basically, what type of access, what extents of access, and where the access should play. Right. That is also managed by identity and access management. And also to report if Udesh is accessing, suppose he's not supposed to access, is to restrict the access. Okay, is to not to allow him to access to, it's to not allow him to have access to something that he's not supposed to have access to. All of this is controlled by IAM. It's a framework. IAM is like a framework. Okay, help manage users and permission across Azure, meaning Office 365, Intune, pretty much all Microsoft services. Okay, ensure only the right people get access to the right thing at the right time. Meaning, if somebody leaves the organization, we can revoke the access within a matter of seconds, and they will not be able to access anything inside the company. Not even whatever license we assign to even hundreds of different sites, outside site, third-party sites. As long as we're using single sign-on, we can revoke all of the access just with a button, with just one click of a button. Okay. What is a conditional access? There's something called conditional access. It's a policy-based access control. Blocks access by certain location, requires MFA for admin users. So let's say if I say, okay, my company is working on sensitive data, for you to access this application, you have to be accessing from my location, this location, right? Like let's say CTEC Training Center, only from this time to this time. You cannot access it anywhere else. This will actually block it by geolocation, and I can actually say your computer which you're using must be a company provided computer, and it must have all the antivirus system checked and installed. It must be in compliance with all the security updates. If not, I won't allow you to. I can restrict you so much to make sure your computer is safe and secure before you can access, because I should not even allow for a single chance for your computer to damage my system, right? So I can actually restrict it so well that there's no way that my system can ever be compromised. And I can actually make sure that nowadays MFA is required for all, not just admin, for everyone. Okay, I can actually make the MFA required by default. So all of this plus, if I put an MFA, there's pretty much no way I can get hacked. Okay, if I make it on a specific location base, time base, a computer, and the computer software it's running, and do an antivirus check before you even log in. All of this is only possible because we're now all connected to the cloud, and the computer is using the cloud services, right? So it's now I can check not just the cloud itself, I can check the physical computer you're logging in from to just make sure it's safe. Okay, guys. Any questions so far? Awesome. Okay, guys. Let's take a 10 minutes break and let's get into Azure. Okay. It's let's say 2:30 right now. Let's connect back at 2:45. Okay. Just before we go, anyone has any questions, guys? Before we go on our break, 15 minutes break. Okay, let's take a 15 minutes break. Let's meet back at 2:45. Okay. Thank you, guys. All right, guys. Basta. All right. So we just talked about conditional access before we went on our break. So let's continue. How MFA works. We talked about MFA in our last class too. It's called multi-factor authentication. Requires something you know, password, and something you have as a phone. Okay, stops most common cyber attacks. Now they have passwordless login, which is you just have to have your phone username and your phone. It's a passwordless login. It's even more secure. Okay. Enter ID identity protection uses machine learning to detect threats, flags risky users or logins, can block access or require extra steps. The reason why this is very, very good identity protection is, let's say, if Udesh is a level one help desk analyst, okay, but he's acting a little bit suspicious. But as a human, we don't know, right? He could be clicking on things that we don't know of. But the Azure identity protection services will actually see all the accounts, and because we already assigned him a level one help desk analyst role, if he's doing that he's not supposed to and his activity looks suspicious to the computer, it'll actually block his account, and it'll actually send an email to the supervisor, whoever we have him set up as, and they'll get notified saying that, oh, this account has been under suspicion activity. We have blocked his account access. Now, there's some setups that your administrator can do to level up the risk for IT, because as a starter, you might be clicking onto something. Maybe it's just a warning that gets sent to the manager. It just depends on the severity of how they want to treat it. But usually what they do is, I know I've set this up to a lot of companies where, let's say we clearly define these are the things I want to protect, right? Like company asset, like meaning, let's say if new tender is coming out, right? Like for construction companies, we say that, okay, the tender files should not be leaked, right? Let's say if someone from sales department is going to the tender file, they're looking at it, and they're not supposed to look at it, right? From their role, they don't need to look at it, right? Because they're just an average sales agent. They're not even a sales manager, right? So this person is looking at it, but let's say if they are accessing it, then and they're trying to send an email. If they're trying to send an email that they're not supposed to, they could be actually flagged, and the email can actually stop before they send the email outside the organization, of course. And we can actually compromise, like even if they put a USB in and try to take the file, we can actually stop all of those from the identity protection, just to make sure the file does not go out of the organization without our knowledge, right? It's just a part of a step that they have taken to protect company asset, like documents, data, whatever it is, right? You can set limitations on. You can actually classify files like confidential, secret, public, or others, or miscellaneous. So anything that's confidential or secret, nobody should be able to access except for the right amount of people. And even the right amount of people, if they send outside the organization or copy to USB drive, the administrator or the manager or a supervisor can get notified saying that, okay, this person has taken this file. It could be for legitimate purpose or unknown purpose, right? And usually we can actually set up administrator can actually set up a constraint saying that this file cannot be copied over without approval. So are sent over by email or to a copy to a Google Drive. So you see, like before this was happening, right now this can be completely blocked, okay, as long as it's been properly set up, okay. That's how powerful the Azure environment is. Using single logs to troubleshoot. We'll go ahead and look at this when we go into Azure. Let's go ahead and jump into Azure, okay? At this point, give me one second. Troubleshooting. This one. Okay, so let's go through the slides before we jump on. It's just troubleshooting methodology. You guys might want to write this down, okay? When somebody's having login issues, you can actually see views login attempts, and you can see how they logged in, and it'll give you a very clear understanding of what the errors are. Like it's either wrong password or block attempt from because based out of the computer, the location, even if they're using a wrong password, or if they're using a wrong password too many times, or if they have not used their authenticator, or if they have failed to press the allow on it. It gives a very extensive log. Okay, you can go and look at it. Which when you create user accounts, you can go ahead and try to do those type of things to create the logs. Okay, to see. Filter by user application. Okay, you do a lot of filter. We'll look at that when we create that. When we go today, will be the user account creation. Tomorrow, next class we'll look at the filtration, so you can see how the filtrations will work, and we'll go more in depth on user account creation a little bit more in the next. We'll do it today, and we'll go a little bit more in depth, and we'll go into logs and viewing logs. Okay, for troubleshooting purposes. Network troubleshooting with NGS. So usually this is not done by you guys. This is done by the network and network administration group. So they have something called NGS, network security groups, controls inbounds and outbound traffic. So basically whatever comes into the company, whatever goes out of the company. So if somebody says, I can't access this website on the company network, usually gets blocked, most likely like 99.9% time, it's blocked by the company's network. And usually the network administrator or system administrator can go into the NGIS network security group and look at the inbound outbound traffic rules and see what's happening. And if they need to, they can either block access, or they can even allow access. Okay, if they find it malicious, then they'll block access. If they find it acceptable for the business, they'll allow access. Sometimes even nowadays we get from companies, if it's a new website, they just recently created, and it's probably for even some sort of new company started up, they want to buy products, right? It most likely will be blocked by NSGs. And usually the network administrator, if the customer tells you, you'll create a ticket, you'll escalate up to the networking team, and then make sure the networking team can actually go in. They'll actually go in and they'll add this to the whitelisting. They'll allow it to go through if they think it's safe. They'll do the testing and they allow it. Okay. Usually when they say they can't access the website, you create a ticket. You'll verify that they can't access it from their computer and from your computer, and we'll do the ping and everything. We'll see how it is in the next steps, and then we'll go on from. And then we'll create a ticket. You'll see exactly how to create a ticket, what information you should be putting in. Okay, in troubleshooting steps, and then you should be submitting a ticket to networking group, so they can further troubleshoot and allow or deny the access based on the company's protocols. Okay. Troubleshooting RBAC issues, role-based access issue. Check the assigned roles. Make sure the person is assigned proper roles to make sure that they have what type of access they want, right? When somebody tells you they cannot access the file, ask them clearly, what are they trying to do, right? Because I might just have a read access and I'm trying to edit the access, okay? So when they say they can't access, it's your job to make sure you ask the right question to, understand what issues they're having, right? So you might want to ask them to show you or tell you exactly what's happening and then what they need to do. Okay? You want to get what they're doing and what they need to do and make sure the access is set up. When we actually do assign roles, you'll see how, because roles and assigning role-based access will be next class, and you'll see how exactly the roles are assigned and how you can go in and see what type of roles they have, and you'll see it'll be very clear-cut for you to understand, okay? But always when they say access-related issue, it's most likely will be based out of role or RBAC issues, okay? And you can either ask permission to give them access, or you can actually, you have to obviously ask permission, and if they either approve or deny based on the results are based on. Monitoring quotas and limits. Each Azure services has a usage limit. Check quota for CPU, RAM, and storage. Request increase if needed. So usually this one is also done by, you can actually check the logs, but your job is to just notify a system admin that somebody has, usually when you reach a quota limit, meaning your allowance. So imagine, back in the days, we used to have your phones, you're allowed to only make 500 minutes call, right? If you reach more than that, you either have to pay more or your service will be terminated, right? Just take a data. If you have a prepaid phone service, if you only have 30 gigs, you can only use 30 gigs, After that, it'll stop working and you have to go in and buy more data, right? Same thing, the system administrators will actually set up a quota saying this person's only allowed to use this much amount of time, right? Because it costs, remember that we talked about virtual machines and everything, they cost us every minute, every hour we run, right? So we can actually restrict this person only to use 8 hours a day or 72 hours a week or something like that, right? So when they reach a quota, they'll actually get an email or the system admin will reach an email saying that this person has reached the quota. You want to increase it. This is our usually automated step nowadays. Okay, this is not a manual step anymore. But I have just put in there just for education purposes. They'll actually monitor, and if they need it, they have to explain why they need it, and they have to get approval. Usually, this is all done by the system admin. You guys will be the intermediate. You guys will be asked to ask the you'll be asked to enter in the if they need it or not, reach out to the manager and ask them for permission. Once they give approval or deny, you just pass it on to the system admin. Okay. Best practices for beginner. Start with built-in roles and policies. I'll show you in the next class when we do RBAC policies. You'll see you will be able to select. There's already I think over 2,000 different roles that Microsoft already predefined from all the existing clients that gives you enough access. Okay, but let's say if you need more, you can actually create more, but you can actually assign whatever that's there. Okay, for your purposes. Always use MFA, multi-factor authentication. Okay, monitor activity and sign-ins. Learn through Azure portals and free sandbox tools. I showed you guys the Azure Learning Portal, right? That's where you should be going to learn more about it, okay? Any issues that you're facing, your first resource should be searching on Azure. Go to Google and search the issue you have. Azure has one of the best documentation that's possible, and it's very easy to follow as long as you're searching, okay? For all students, I ask is if you're having issues and you come to me, I'll actually ask you what type of troubleshooting steps you have taken to see, right? Even if you're sending a group email saying that it's not working for you, I want you to get into the habit of researching what the issue is, what you faced, what is it telling you online, and have you tried it and where it failed before you even ask the class or before you even ask someone, right? And if you find any issues, I encourage you to post it online, okay? To give it to the group, we'll discuss every class about when you set up these, what issues you faced, what are some of the things that you faced and how you resolved it. Okay. Summary and final questions. Azure equals cloud platform for apps and storage and more. Azure AD equals Enter ID. Okay, no, not Azure AD is Enter ID. Manages users and sign-ins. RBAC and IAM is access control. Troubleshooting, you'll use logs. You won't use NGS and permission, but you use permissions, and quota is not you. Okay, NGS and quota is not you. Okay. Any questions so far, guys, on this is all we cover. Why you compare it? Yeah, this is Enter ID. This is newer. What's Enter ID? Okay. But any questions so far, guys, on what we covered so far? We're gonna jump into Azure right now. Okay, to create user accounts. This slide is exactly the Azure ID, but it's changed into Enter ID. So I just put a brief right there. Okay. It's the same thing as we talked about right now. Okay. So this is a term that you guys want to get yourself familiar with. It's called tenant. You'll hear a lot of companies will say tenant. It's an organization's private Enter ID. So what you guys created, you guys create your own tenant, meaning like you're renting a Microsoft Azure space. Tenant is like basically renting, right? Person who's leasing something. You're actually leasing Microsoft Azure space. So you're now a tenant inside Microsoft Azure. Okay, it's a private Enter ID space. You have now a private Enter ID space when you guys created accounts. Okay, in Microsoft account. Users, a person who logs into the system. A group is set up users with similar access. Role, what a user is allowed to do. MFA is add extra login security. Now, guys, any questions so far from what we ever used? Okay, types of user, cloud-only users, created directly in Enter ID, hybrid users. Nowadays, this is going away, okay? Sync between on-premise AD and Enter ID. This is going away, hybrid users. And guest users now getting thing too. It's like external people invited in. So it's basically like contract companies that's trying to work. you can actually allow them to temporary access from there. You don't have to create them account in Enter ID. I mean, you don't have to give them full access into Enter ID. You can actually give them access from where they are. So they can just use an external email address to create they can access internal. Any questions so far, guys, before we start jumping into Azure? And I'll show you guys how to create accounts. And I'm going to give you guys assignment to do for this week to create 10 different accounts and name them, give them password, and set them up. Okay, that's what your access. That's what your assignment is going to be for this week when you guys come into next week. And we're going to be discussing all the issues you have faced, all the steps you have faced. But I want you guys to create a documentation. Okay, this is where we're going to get into. Any questions so far, guys? Okay, let's enter into Azure. Okay, so hopefully everybody's still awake. We can continue on this fun stuff now. From on now, we're going to go lots of hands-on. Okay, it's not going to be slides and everything now. Well, there's going to be a bit of slides, but it's going to be a lot of hands-on work. Okay. Okay, we're at our Azure portal screen, front screen, our Azure portal main screen. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on something called Enter ID. Okay, you can go here into the extensive menu, the 3 lines, and find Microsoft Enter ID here in your favorites. If you don't see it in your extensive menu, because you might have to not have favorited, so it's just fine. You can go down here in your Azure services. You can actually do more services, and you can find it from here, Enter ID, or you can just on top here search Enter ID. There's 3 ways for you guys to find it. Okay. Yep. Sorry. I'm just going to go back here. And I'm going to go and see manage users. So if you go here, this is what you'll see. Sorry. This is what you'll see, okay? Because before, 1 year ago when I did it, the users would pop up here, but now it's all inside. Okay, that's okay. Same thing, but just different menus. Okay, so if you see here, this is your overview, okay? This tells you your tenant name. This is CTech Training. That's my tenant. This is the company name, okay? And you see here how many users are currently there, how many users we have, how many applications, and how many devices I have enrolled. How many computers, cell phones, it'll all fall into this device, okay? Now, we can add users from here. Click on you and click users here. Or we can actually go into users here and create users, okay? You'll always, whenever you see users, you'll have your name here because that is your primary account, right? You would still be considered as user, okay, your account. Let's go ahead and create our first user, okay? This is very important for you guys to watch. Now, I'm going to show the documentation process that you guys should be following, okay? Let me go to Google Docs. You can do this on a Word as well, okay? I don't mind. I'm just going to open up Google Docs. I'm just going to sign up here. And give me 1 second. I think I have an assignment for you guys for this. Give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. I couldn't find the assignment, but I'll send it to you over the thing. It just every process you just have to take a screenshot. If I don't send you the thing, just I should have it here. I'm just trying to see here. I'll find it anyways. I know I had the assignment. I just don't know what. Azure. Okay, let me see if this is the correct one. Not this one. Azure. No, okay, no, that's okay. Okay, so let's go over. Let me share my screen. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'll show you guys how to create a simple user account. Okay. Now, for the assignment, I'll send it to you guys. You'll need to create 10 different users and give them all proper naming and proper passwords and everything. Okay, I'll show you guys how to do it, and you guys will mimic this for 10 different users on your account and send me some screenshots. Okay. Okay. So when you click on add new user, create new user, you see the option for inviting external. That's where you go to external user. But for this task, you just create new users. Okay. And you'll ask for the principal name. So meaning, what is the username? Okay. I'm going to give this MHE and my last name. You can create whatever account you want. Display name is going to be Mahendra Kumar. I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay. Now Azure is going to create a secure password for you. You can change this or leave this as this. It's going to be auto-generated password. They must change at the time of when they first log in. Okay, which is fine. So you can create that. Okay. Now you'll have two different options. You'll have review and create, or you have a next property. I don't want you guys to do review and create. Okay, you guys must click on next property. Now it's going to ask you for the first name. For them, my last name and my first name, just for this purpose. Okay. And then you're going to create user type. You have a couple of options, member or guest. You're going to leave it as member. Okay. You're going to give it a job title. In the assignment sheet, I'm going to give you exactly what type of information you're giving, and that's exactly what you should be giving. Okay. And provide screenshots. Okay, as you go on. Once you create the user account, you can just create a screenshot. I'm going to create as a IT help desk. And list company name, C-Tech, training department, IT. Employee ID, I'm just going to leave it as this. Employee type, full-time. Hire date, I'm going to leave it as today. Office location, I'm going to put as Toronto, okay? Street address, you can just put it in, 4168 Finch. This can all be, that's okay. This is all okay. At least the main information filter, okay? Assignment review. This one is to assign roles or anything. That for now, we'll leave this empty, okay? And click here, review and create. So now this is the overview. This is what you'll need to provide screenshot of when you create a user. Okay, let me zoom out. This is what you need to create a screenshot of when I ask you for the user. When in the documentation will ask you, just make sure to clearly take a picture of it. Okay. You can just do a print screen and take a picture. Okay. And here you'll see on the bottom here called create. Okay. When you hit create, this will create a user. This is just a Microsoft feedback. I'm just going to click cancel. But you see, once I create a user, it won't instantly appear here. Okay, it just takes about a couple of seconds for the user to be created. Now, when you click on refresh here, so refresh and you'll see the user here. Okay, that is how you create your user account. Okay. Now I'll send you over the assignment files right after this class. I'll just have to dig through my my drive and I have to find it. And I'll send to you guys. It'll give you exactly the name, the addresses, the phone number you should be putting. You should be following exactly dot to dot and providing screenshot for each user. Okay. Once you guys do, we'll submit that through your email. Send an email to my class with, I mean, to myself with all the people in the class CC. That way everybody can see. But you should be, when you're creating a document on Google Drive, I'll tell you how to do it. Okay. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to open up a sample document. Begin the task. Okay. This one. Okay. Okay, let's say this is the one I send you, okay? I'll send you a link to access the document. How you should be actually working from this is this. You'll see this on your computer. Not this exact assignment, but this is a different assignment. You'll actually click on File, make a copy, okay, from Google Drive. From Google Docs, sorry. You'll make a copy. Here you see this, right? You'll actually remove the copy off and delete this. And put in your first name, dash, last name. That's it, okay? And you'll make a copy. What this will do is this will create a copy for yourself with your name, and this is what it is, okay? As soon as you create the document, you must follow this, okay? You're gonna click on share, and you're gonna click on restricted over here. Anyone with the link, you're gonna change the viewer to commenter. And then click on done. Whenever you want to share me the document, once you're done, you're going to click on share again. You're going to click on copy link, and then send me this link, okay? If you don't change the settings, I will not be able to see your documents, okay? And I want to have commenter access, so I can go ahead and make some comments in the document if I do need to, okay? Does that make sense, guys? And click on just send me the link. But this is not assignment. I'll give you another assignment file. You get it? Just open the link up, make a copy, the same way I tell you. Create it, share it, work on the file. Once you're done, send me the link on email, okay? Gmail. Does that make sense, guys? That is how you will create a user account, okay? You will be asked to create, I think it's 10 different accounts. I'll find the assignment. I'll send it to you guys over email just right after we're done this class. And then once in the next class, we'll actually see how to assign roles and how to do troubleshooting everything, okay? The following class, okay? Any questions so far, guys, about the assignment or about today's class? Go ahead, Annie.
Sir, on the top, it's written all services, then it's CTech training, then users. Sir, how CTech training comes over here?
Okay. I see what you're seeing. Okay, sorry, I'm on the other screen. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you're seeing all service and CTech training, right? And users. This one.
Yes.
Okay, so CTech training is actually the tenant, because when I created the Azure account, I created for my company. So when you go into your account and you log in, this will be your name here. What are the name you given when you signed up?
Okay, first we have to create a tenant, and then we will start creating users.
Your tenant should be automatically created, Annie. So when you signed up for account in Azure, the free account, you already created tenant.
Okay.
You're already renting a space from Azure already.
Okay.
So automatically you'll have a tenant created. And if you go into Azure right now, you'll actually see you'll see that when you go here, this portal, you see here on my name over here, you'll see something like this, but you'll see a different name here maybe when you create it. You'll have the same name. So when you go here and go into enter ID, once I find it, it's so hard to find through here. There's so much services that Azure do. It's usually easy just to search up here, enter ID. You'll see your tenant name, and overview. And when you click on users, you'll actually go into all services, CTech training tenant, and in the users section. That's all this is.
Okay, actually in my case, it's coming default directory.
Yeah, maybe the naming you have given, it's not yet set up yet, which is totally fine.
Okay, okay.
Which is totally fine. Which is totally fine. Go ahead, Sharon.
So, like Annie said, it says default directory. So, should we go and change the name somewhere to display our name?
There is actually assignment that you work on to change the name. You actually change the portal to put your own custom logo and everything. So just not right now. There's assignment for it. We'll talk about the customization.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. There's a portion we actually do. Where is this? There's actually an assignment that you follow. Not this one. Yeah. So this assignment, what I showed you previously, you'll actually set up create a resource group, and not this one. Sorry, my apologies. There's actually one more. I'm sure. Yeah, there's an assignment where you'll you go in and actually create a modify your portal to put in logos and everything. Okay, and I'll give you exactly logo to use. I just open it up. Yeah, this is assignment. Yeah, you'll actually brand your company. You'll actually brand your company. This is assignment, but this will be next class. You'll be given exactly what to do and how to brand it. This is how your name will come as us. This is why it comes CTech training. I suggest you do a CTech training too, but you can do whatever. Like in the assignment, this assignment you follow. And this will get you to modify the thing, and you'll put in your own logo when you log in screen. Soon as somebody try to log into your company, it'll show them with your logo and everything. So it's personalized. You'll learn that. Okay. Any other questions, guys, so far? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, can you show how to create the users again one more time, please?
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Give me 1 second. Okay, so when you go in from the Azure portal itself, right? You will go. Let me go start from here. Okay. User accounts are always managed from Enter ID. Okay. You'll search up for either Enter ID here, or you can find from the extensive menu. Okay. This is the 3 lines called extensive menu. What is this called, guys? This one over here with 6 dots.
Rubik menu.
Sorry.
Rubik menu.
Yeah, Rubik's Cube menu. Yeah, Rubik's menu, or Rubik's Cube menu we call it. Not here, from the extensive menu. Okay. You can usually find it here. If you don't, you can actually search it up. Okay. Let's say this is where we search it up. Okay. This is where your Enter ID's overview screen. Okay? This is Enter ID overview. This will tell you about your Enter ID. We'll go over it in the next classes, couple of classes. But in here, we're going to go into users, and you're going to click on new user over here. Create new user. You're going to give this a name. This is going to be a login name. Okay. This is going to be user account name. I'm going to give this as test user 1 for now, just as temporary name. And then you're going to give display name over here. Okay. Test user 1. Password will be automatically generated, which is fine. They need to change the password as soon as they log in. Okay. That's fine. We're not going to use a review and create right over here. We're going to click next properties. We're going to give it first name, last name, what type of user they are, either member or guest. Okay. This is going to be member for now. We're going to give the job title name, whatever the document that tells you. Okay. The document will give you exactly what to give them. That's how you'll give them. You'll never give them based on what you think. somebody has to give you exactly what you need to put in here. Okay, who's going to be HR or your manager? Okay, you'll fill all this information in. You'll fill this information if the company tells you to fill it in, and then you're going to click on next. It's the assign group for this assignment. You're not going to assign any group, which is totally fine. And you're going to click on review and create. You're going to see all, this is going to be a summary, okay? It's going to tell you this is what you're going to create. And usually this is what you need to take a screenshot of for your assignment, okay? For each user. And you click on create. Simple as that. You won't see it instantly. You just have to refresh and you'll see it, okay? When they ask you to prove you have created all the users, when you have done creating all the users, just take a full screenshot of all the user list, okay? There'll be 10 users here. Just take a full screenshot of it, okay? And paste in the document. Okay, Udesh?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Annie, go ahead, Annie.
Sir, now on the top, the path is showing as home, CTech training and users.
Mhm.
Now it's not coming all services, CTech training users.
Very good.
Why is
question.
it so?
Very good notice. Because right now, if you see, we don't see, remember before where we used to see overview, when we expand, we saw users, groups, and everything, right? That is from the Enter IDs, where we went from Microsoft Azure, we went to Enter ID, and then we went into users, right? Users, we expanded user, went to users. So we were in Microsoft Azure portal and we were in controlling Enter ID, right? Now we're inside Enter ID, service itself. It's just a location where we're in. Because right now we're in Enter ID. So right now you don't see the overview and everything. So let's say if I go back to home, you're gonna go back to Azure Home, okay, not the Enter ID. Whereas let's say if I go into Enter ID, click from here and go into see the overview you see here, user you get here. When you go into users, you're changing the location here. If I click back, I'm going to Enter ID. It's just based on the location where you are. It is a bit confusing. It's because how Microsoft has designed it. It's just your from where you're looking is. Just think of the access, because you can control the access. Right now you're controlling from it's called administrative view, right? But your company can restrict you from not going into Microsoft Azure. They can just give you, because you're a help desk analyst, they can give you access just to go into Enter ID. And you'll only see this screen, user screen. You'll just see this screen. You won't see the overview screen. You can restrict your help desk analyst to just see the screen. You won't even see the screen at all. You won't be able to you don't have the capacity to see the screen, your access level. Because as just an average or just a level 1 help desk analyst, you don't need to see this information. You don't need to see how much level of group. You don't need to see how much level of users. You don't need to see monitoring. You don't need to see properties. You just need to see users, and which is what the screen is. And you can actually give the users just to see users and in the end. That's the reason why. It's just to give access control. Did I make sense to you, Annie? It's just for access control purposes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any question, guys? Perfect. So I'll send you guys assignment. It's basically what we did right now, but you're going to be creating 10 different users. And following classes, we'll be using 10 different classes, 10 different users to do role-based assignments, to set up MFA, to test and everything, okay? That is why these user accounts are important. And it's important you follow exactly as what the document says, okay? If you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to ask you guys, I know we didn't do a tradition last week, but that does not mean we'll get to skip every week, okay? I'm going to ask you guys to, I'm just going to stop this. I have too many screens opened up. That's usually. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys, how was today's class? What did you guys learn new? And hands-on, how is it getting you guys? Are you guys understanding? Or how are you guys liking the class so far?
Yeah, it's all great, sir. Actually, today we did hands-on and now waiting for the assignment.
Yeah.
And we'll
Very
send to you, and looking forward for exploring more Azure portal.
Yes.
Yes, it was nice session.
And trust me, once you've done the Azure section, you'll have at least good 40 to 60% knowledge on how to manage users. how
Yeah.
to assign roles, how do you actually onboard user, how do you actually offboard user, how do you actually do a position change, how do you actually revoke access, how do you actually give access. All of this will be covered. And when you go to interview, you can say you have experience, you have the knowledge which you require. When they ask questions, you should be able to answer them right away. And which is just not this course. We need your effort too, which is what that certification, the fundamental certification, and the training I told you guys to follow, which will give you even more extensive knowledge.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Anne. Who wants to go next? I know this has been very dry lately, but now we're gonna get into the meat of the burger, what we call it. This is gonna be starting to get fun. Trust me, I'm excited for you guys. I'm already pumped with a lot of energy just to getting started in Azure. Now we're gonna be having lots of fun with access control. You guys will be facing lots of issues. Don't think I'm psychotic to think enjoying that you guys will face issue, but I always think the only way to learn is under pressure. And I've seen that with my own experience. And I've been over teaching this over 6-7 years now. And the more issues you face and the overcome you come, the more you will learn. That's the reason why I'm excited. Okay, go ahead. Who wants to go next?
So
Yeah.
when I created the Azure account, I saw a few beginners videos, and it was very overwhelming at that point for
Yeah.
me, and most of the things went over my head. But after today's class, I started to get a clear picture, and hopefully by next
Very
week, when we have a lot of hands-on experience just with the assignment, I might
Yeah.
be able to understand a bit more about all these concepts. So looking forward to doing more activities and assignments, and as you said, get into the meat of the course.
Yeah, and it's very good thing, Sharon, that you've done that. It's you watch the video, and it's exactly what you said. And trust me, in the other batches too, we exactly get them to do this too. When you watch it and you don't get it, and when you come into the class and when we explain it step by step by step, it might seem like baby step, but everything will start making sense once you go full throttle into the course. It'll instantly click for you, and which is what it probably happened to you too. And I encourage you to do the same thing. It's okay if it goes over your head. Still watch it, but when you come into the class, at least it'll start to click why it's happening, what is happening, how it's happening, right? And that's what the most learning about operating out. And I want to say thank you for following the course as I recommended. And trust me, it's going to get fun, and it's going to be a lot of headaches, but it's going to be in a good way. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next, I have Udesh. Go ahead, Udesh.
Sir, today class little bit difficult to me because I try to understand. Again, I need to go through with this all again because
Yes.
already I created the account. That's fine,
Mhm.
but I need more information, sir. When I get practice more and more, I will definitely go through this one.
Yeah, and what you do is just when your recording comes in, right? Watch it first time, right? It's 3 hours audio, but just sit down and watch this section, and then try doing it. Once you start doing it by hands-on, it'll start clicking in. Sometimes when we watch, our brain does not comprehend it or learn it much as when we do it, right? While watching a video, try doing it simultaneously. Put it on your phone and watch. Try doing it from your account, and it'll start making
Yes, sir. I will do like that.
for sure, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next, I have Mr. Ramesh.
Hi, sir.
Hey.
Uh, uh, it was very good, sir. Actually, it was the first, stepping stone.
Yes.
To
Yes.
and I feel little confident, but I know it's basic stuff. But still, I feel a little bit confident I can do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm going through the videos also. So
Very good.
so I can learn it.
Yeah, for sure. I have no doubt. It just it'll be overwhelming at first, for sure. Because now we're going to color cloud concept. Cloud is like everybody thinks it's so hard. It's a new age concept, right? But because we'll break it down so into small chunks, it'll be very easy for you to digest. And once you start watching the video, once you start creating an account, we'll slightly inch into role-based access. You'll understand that. We'll complete that, and then we'll go into more into restriction, onboarding, offboarding. Everything will become very easy for you. The only thing I ask is every week practice. That's it.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Last but not least, Mr. Mitra.
Hi, sir.
Hey.
Today I learned the cloud concept and hands-on thing. First, I look kind of fear, but
Yeah.
if I see familiarize with so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And trust me, everyone, like, when I first heard about cloud, I was very scared because for almost 6 7 years or even 10 years I was on premises guy. As soon as everybody said cloud, I was like, no, 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 I don't want to study cloud. Cloud is nowhere. But the world has pushed everyone to cloud, and it looks very scary because you don't own anything, you don't have control, you can't do anything when but it once you know the cloud concept, how it works, it's actually very beneficial, and you'll love it. There's a love for it. Very good. Okay, my dear friends, I'm going to let you guys go. You'll have what 24 minutes left in this class today, so enjoy as much as you can. We'll see you next class, but I'll have the recording uploaded as soon as possible, and I'll send you guys assignments, and you guys start doing it. If you have any questions, email the group. We'll go on from there. Okay. If you guys have any issues, as I said, how we should be asking question is, okay, I had this issue. I searched up online. These are the results I found. I've tried to do it. It's either failed or I don't understand it. Like, those are the type of complexity I want to do, because this is how you should be working to, right? You should not just be like, I don't understand this, right? At least try to put in some sort of effort to understand it. If you don't, that's fine. We can do it. But as long as we see you're putting in effort, which shows the team that, okay, you know what, this guy is worth that. This person is worth teaching, this person is worth teaching, so let's teach it. But if you don't do any effort and be like, I don't understand, nobody's going to willing to do, because they have work to do too, right? It's not just a teaching. The team lead has other work he has to do, but he's doing to make sure you work, and if you're doing effort, it's easier. Okay. Very good, guys. Have a nice weekend. I'll have the video uploaded as soon as the recording comes to me, and I'll send you guys. Okay. Thank you so much.
Have a good weekend, sir. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.